The Passion of our Lord Jesus Christ, according to John. At that time, Jesus went forth with his disciples across the Kidron Valley, where there was a garden, which he and his disciples entered. Now Judas, who betrayed him, also knew the place, for Jesus often met there with his disciples. So Judas, procuring a band of soldiers and some officers of the chief priests and the Pharisees, went there with lanterns and torches and weapons. Then Jesus, knowing all that was to befall him, came forward and said to them,
"Whom do you seek?"
They answered him,
"Jesus of Nazareth."
Jesus said to them,
"I am he."
Judas, who betrayed him, was standing with them. When he said to them, "I am he," they drew back and fell to the ground. Again he asked them,
"Whom do you seek?"
and they said,
"Jesus of Nazareth."
Jesus answered,
"I told you that I am he. So if you seek me, let these men go."
This was to fulfill the word which he had spoken, "Of those whom you gave me, I lost not one." Then Simon Peter, having a sword, drew it and struck the high priest's slave and cut off his right ear. The slave's name was Malchus. Jesus said to Peter,
"Put your sword into its sheath. Shall I not drink the chalice which the Father has given me?"
So the band of soldiers and their captain and the officers of the Jews seized Jesus and bound him. First they led him to Annas, for he was the father-in-law of Caiaphas, who was high priest that year. It was Caiaphas who had given counsel to the Jews that it was expedient that one man should die for the people. Simon Peter followed Jesus, and so did another disciple. As this disciple was known to the maid who kept the door, said to Peter,
"Are not you also one of these my disciples?"
He said,
"I am not."
Now the servants and officers had made a charcoal fire because it was cold, and they were standing and warming themselves. Peter also was with them, standing and warming himself. The high priest then questioned Jesus about his disciples and his teaching. Jesus answered him,
I have spoken openly to the world. I have always taught in synagogues and in the temple, where all Jews come together. I have said nothing secretly. Why do you strike me? As those who have heard me, what I say to them, they know what I say.
When he had said this, one of the officers standing by struck Jesus with his hand, saying,
Is that how you answered the high priest?
Jesus answered him,
If I have spoken wrongly, bear witness to the wrong. But if I have spoken rightly, why do you strike me?
and as them sent him bound to Caiaphas the high priest. Now Simon Peter was standing and warming himself. They said to him,
Are you not also one of his disciples?
he denied it and said,
I am not.
one of the servants of the high priest, a kinsman of the man whose ear Peter had cut off, asked him,
Did I not see you in the garden with him?
Peter again denied it, and at once the cock crowed. Then they led Jesus from the house of Caiaphas to the praetorium. It was early morning. They themselves did not enter the praetorium, so that they might not be defiled, but might eat the Passover. So Pilate went out to them and said,
What accusation do you bring against this man?
They answered him,
If this man were not only born, we would not have
Pilate said to them,
Take him yourselves and judge him by your own law.
the Jews said to him,
It's not lawful for us to put any man to death.
This was to fulfill the word which Jesus had spoken, to show by what death he was to die. Pilate entered the praetorium again and said to him,
Are you the king of the Jews?
Jesus answered,
Do you say this of your own accord, or did others say it to you about me?
Pilate Jesus answered,
My kingship is not of this world. If my kingship were of this world, my servants will fight, that I might not be handed over to the Jews. But my kingship is not from the world.
Pilate said to him,
So you are a king.
Jesus answered,
You said that I am a king. For this I was born, and for this I have come into the world, to bear witness to the truth. Everyone who is of the truth hears my voice.
Pilate said to him,
What is truth?
after he had said this, he went out to the Jews again and told them,
I find no crime in him, but you have a custom that I should release one man for you at the Passover. Will you have me released for you, the King of the Jews?
They cried out again.
Not this man, but Barabbas.
Now Barabbas was a robber. Then Pilate took Jesus and scourged him, and the soldiers painted a crown of thorns and put it on his head and clothed him in a purple robe. They came up to him saying,
King of the Jews.
King of the Jews, King of the Jews,
Hey, King of the Jews.
and struck him with their hands. Pilate went out again and said to them,
Behold, I am bringing him out to you, that you may know that I find no crime in him.
So Jesus came out, wearing the crown of thorns and the purple robe. Pilate said to them,
Here is the man.
when the chief priests and the officers saw him, they cried out.
Crucify him! Crucify him!
Pilate said to them,
Take him yourselves and crucify him, for I find no crime in him.
the Jews answered him,
We have the law, and by the law, we have to die, we have to die, because we have made his sentence
When Pilate heard these words, he entered the praetorium again and said to Jesus,
Where are you from?
but Jesus gave no answer. Pilate therefore said to him,
You will not speak to me. Do you not know that I have power to release you and power to crucify you?
Jesus answered him,
You will have no power over
this, Pilate sought to release him, but the Jews cried out,
If you release this man, you are not Caesar's friend. Everyone who makes himself king sets himself against Caesar.
When Pilate heard these words, he brought Jesus out and sat him on the judgment seat at a place called the Pavement, and in Hebrew Gabbatha. Now it was the day of preparation of the Passover. It was about the 6th hour. He said to the Jews,
Here is your king.
they cried out,
Away with him, crucify him, crucify him, crucify him.
Pilate said to them,
Shall I crucify your king?
the chief priest answered,
We have no king but Caesar.
and the disciple whom he loved standing near, he said to his mother,
Woman, behold your son.
then he said to the disciple,
Behold your mother.
and from that hour the disciple took her to his own home. After this, Jesus, knowing that all was now finished, said to fulfill the scripture, a bowl of vinegar stood there. So they put a spoonful of vinegar on his arm and held it to his mouth. When vinegar, he said,
It is finished.
and he bowed his head and gave up his spirit. The Jews asked Pilate that their legs might be broken and that they might be taken away, being crucified with him. But when they came to Jesus and saw that he was already dead, they did not break his legs. But one of the soldiers pierced his side with a spear, and at once there came out blood and water.